Let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself right now. Are you waking up on fire for your life? Or are you waking up on autopilot, hitting snooze, dragging through the motions, and wondering why success feels just out of reach? Because here's the truth. How you start your morning is how you shape your destiny. Winners, the ones who build legacies, impact the world, and live with joy and purpose, they don't leave their mornings to chance. They build them, they own them, they design them with precision and power. And today, I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to give you a blueprint. 7 simple but deeply strategic things you must do every single morning. If you want to create massive success in your life, your business, your health, your relationships, everything. These aren't tips. These are rituals. These are weapons. These are anchors that pull you into your highest self every damn day. So if you're ready to stop existing and start rising, lean in. Take notes. Commit to this. Because your life isn't going to change someday. It changes the moment you decide to master your mornings. Well, let me tell you something that most people never realize until it's too late. You don't get your life together by chance. You get it together by owning the start of every single day. The way you wake up, the first thoughts in your mind, the first emotions you feel, the first actions you take, they set the tone for everything. You either step into the day with intention or you fall into it with reaction. And there's a world of difference between those two paths. Most people, they wake up and immediately hand their power away. They check their phones, scroll through social media, read text, react to news, and before they've even stood up, they're already behind. Already anxious, already chasing instead of leading. That's not life, that's survival. And survival mode is no place for someone who's here to play at the highest level. I want you to flip the script. I want you to start claiming your mornings like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. The first 30 minutes of your morning are sacred. That is the time where you program your mind, your body, your nervous system. And if you use that time with purpose, everything else becomes easier. Decision-making, focus, energy, confidence. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your rituals. And it starts the moment you open your eyes. So when you wake up tomorrow, don't just wake up. Rise. Rise with intention. Rise with identity. Before the world demands anything from you, decide who you're going to be, sit still for a moment, and own your breath. Don't grab the phone. Don't let notifications dictate your mindset. Breathe. Center. Remember who the hell you are and why you're here. And I want you to build a morning container, a space that's just for you. Maybe it's 10 minutes, maybe it's 30. But in that space, you're not answering to the world, you're answering to your highest self. That's the difference between a person who chases success and a person who becomes it. That's where you remind yourself of your standards, your vision, your values. That's where you build you. This is where momentum begins. Because when you win the morning, you win the day. And when you win enough days in a row, you create a life that most people only dream about. It's not magic, it's not luck. It's you consistently showing up for yourself before the world ever gets a chance to pull you off track. Don't leave your mornings to randomness. Design them, protect them, honor them. Because how you start your day is how you shape your destiny. If you want to change your life, you've got to first change your state. Every single morning, before you do anything else, you need to get out of your head and into your body. Because you can have the best intentions, the clearest goals, the strongest plans, but if your body is in a low state, if your energy is flat, your mindset will follow, your emotions will follow, and your results will reflect that. See, most people wait for motivation. They think they need to feel inspired before they act. That's backwards. You don't wait to feel good to move. You move to feel good. Physiology is the foundation of peak performance. Your body is the fastest tool you have to shift your mindset, your emotions, your energy, everything. And listen, I don't care if it's a full workout, a few minutes of jumping jacks, a cold shower, dancing to a song that lights your soul on fire. I just care that you move. You raise your heart rate. You change your posture. You breathe with power. Because the moment you do that, you're sending a signal to your brain that says, we're alive, we're ready, we're in control. Try this tomorrow morning. The moment you wake up, instead of dragging your body around, instead of letting that old tired pattern kick in, do the opposite. Stand up tall, shake it off, stretch with purpose, move with intention. Take in 3 deep, powerful breaths, in through the nose, out through the mouth, and feel your whole system light up. Do something that physically reminds you that you're not operating at yesterday's level anymore. And while you're moving, speak. Speak into your life. Say the truth out loud. I am strong. I am focused. I am ready. I'm not here to survive. I'm here to dominate this day. Speak it while you move, because now you're aligning the 2 most powerful tools you have, your mind and your body. And when those are in sync, you become unstoppable. We've been conditioned to underestimate our own power. But every time you raise your energy on purpose, every time you choose to command your state instead of reacting to it, you reclaim a piece of that power. And eventually it becomes automatic. You start showing up like a leader. You start walking into rooms differently. You start handling challenges differently. Not because the world changed, but because you did. The way you use your body in the first few minutes of the day sends a message to your brain about how you're going to live the rest of it. So don't play small. Don't slump. Don't settle. Move like a person who's already won. Breathe like someone who knows their time is now. Because when you master your body, you master your state. And your state shapes everything. Let me tell you something that high performers understand at a level most people miss entirely. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. And every single morning you have the power to choose what you feed it. If you're not consciously programming your mind, the world will do it for you. And I promise, the world isn't feeding you power, belief, vision, or purpose. It's feeding you fear, distraction, doubt, comparison. That's the default. That's the noise. And if you don't break that pattern first thing in the morning, it will own you all day long. So I'm telling you right now, the morning isn't just about waking up your body. It's about feeding your mind with what it needs to win. Because success doesn't just show up in your life. It shows up in your thinking first. Before it's real in your results, it's real in your beliefs. It's real in the story you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible. That story gets written at the start of every day. This is where you take control. Right after you get your body in motion, right after you command your state, you go straight into feeding your mind. I'm talking about 10, 15 minutes of powerful, purposeful input. It could be an audio message, a podcast, a chapter from a book that ignites you, a video that challenges your perspective, anything that speaks directly to your vision, your identity, your greatness. And listen, this is not background noise. This is fuel. You're not listening passively. You're listening with presence. You're taking it in like your life depends on it. Because it does. You want to grow your business? You want to elevate your relationships? You want to break through limitations and rise to another level? Then you have to train your brain daily. You can't think at the same level and expect a different life. You've got to stretch it. Expose it to ideas that call you forward. Remind it what you're made of. This is mental conditioning, and it's just as real as physical training. And here's the beautiful part. When you start your morning feeding your mind with strength, you create mental immunity. So when the chaos shows up, and it will, you're ready. You're clear. You're rooted. You don't react like the old you would have. You respond like the person you're becoming. And that shift, that's where momentum begins. Every morning, ask yourself, what does my mind need to hear today to stay aligned with who I truly am? Then go get it. Don't leave your mindset to chance. Feed it with purpose, feed it with vision, and feed it with truth. Because what you put into your mind first thing in the morning becomes the foundation of everything you build. If you want to create a life that's aligned with your highest potential, you can't just set goals, you have to see them. You have to live them in your mind before they ever show up in the physical world. Because what you consistently visualize, you begin to believe. And what you believe, you move toward, consciously or unconsciously, with everything you've got. Every morning, you've got this golden window where your mind is wide open, where your subconscious is the most impressionable. That's not the time to drift. That's the time to direct. And the way you do that is by seeing your outcomes, not as dreams, not as maybe someday ideas, but as realities, tangible, emotional, already done. You have to step into the movie of your life and watch yourself winning. See it in vivid detail. Feel the energy of that vision. If it's your business exploding, see the calls, the impact, the numbers, the energy of a team that's fired up and running with you. If it's your health, see yourself strong, energized, disciplined, proud. If it's a relationship, see the love, the laughter, the depth, the connection. Don't just think it, feel it. Put emotion behind it. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and something that's real. So use that. Use it every single morning to train your brain for success. Now here's where people get it wrong. They visualize from a place of doubt. They look at what they want and then immediately feel the gap between where they are and where they want to be. That's not vision. That's fear dressed up as dreaming. When you visualize, you don't look at it like you're hoping it might happen. You step into it like it's already yours. You connect with that identity. You walk like that version of you. You breathe like them. You make decisions from that place. Because when you do that daily, when you condition your nervous system to believe that outcome is inevitable, you begin to show up in the world differently. Your energy changes. Your focus sharpens. Your standards rise, and the world responds to that version of you in ways that will blow your mind. Visualization isn't about fantasy, it's about focus. It's about clarity, and clarity is power. When you know exactly what you're building, when you feel it in your bones, you stop being distracted by things that don't align. You stop tolerating excuses. You stop shrinking when things get uncomfortable because now you're not moving toward a maybe, you're living from a certainty. Every morning, give yourself 5 minutes, close your eyes, breathe deep, and go there. See the life you're creating. Feel it, own it, lock it in. Because when your vision is clear and you feel it like it's already done, you don't chase success, you attract it. You want to shift your life? You want to build momentum that actually lasts, then you've got to stop starting your day from a place of pressure and start from a place of presence. Because when you're only focused on what you don't have yet, the goals you haven't hit, the money that's not in the account, the weight you haven't lost, the business that's not scaling fast enough, you're beginning your day with a sense of lack. And here's what happens. That lack becomes your filter. It shapes your mindset, your decisions, your energy. You end up chasing instead of creating. You get caught in the loop of not enough, and that pattern will exhaust you no matter how hard you work. So instead, I want you to begin each morning with something stronger than ambition. I want you to begin with gratitude, not as some soft, feel-good idea, but as a power move. Because when you're truly in gratitude, you're in the most powerful emotional state a human being can access. You can't be grateful and angry at the same time. You can't be grateful and anxious. You can't be grateful and stuck in fear. Gratitude dissolves all of that. It clears the noise. It puts you in alignment with the truth that you're already blessed, already equipped, already winning in more ways than you realize. But don't just say it, feel it. Pick 3 things every single morning. And I'm not talking about generic stuff. I'm grateful for food. I'm grateful for my house. I mean real, specific, felt gratitude. The kind that touches your heart. Maybe it's the smile your kid gave you last night. Maybe it's the fact that you woke up today with another shot to go after this thing. Maybe it's a challenge that taught you strength, or whatever it is. You sit with it, you breathe it in, you let that energy flood your system, because that's the energy that creates change. Not the energy of scarcity, but the energy of abundance. When you live from that place, your whole frequency shifts. You stop needing to force things and you start flowing toward them. You start chasing validation and you start creating from truth. You start showing up with a sense of certainty because you're not trying to get there. You already are there. And from that state, you make better decisions. You lead with strength. You connect with people more deeply. You build faster, love harder, grow stronger. Gratitude is the great amplifier. It multiplies everything good in your life. And the beautiful part is you don't need to wait for something big to happen to feel it. You can choose it. Right now, every morning. Because when you lead with gratitude, success doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like purpose. Most people walk into their day with a long to-do list and no real clarity. They confuse being busy with being productive. They check off tasks, answer emails, run from one thing to the next. And at the end of the day, they're exhausted but unfulfilled. You ever felt that? Like you did everything except what actually mattered? That's the cost of waking up without direction. That's what happens when you live by reaction instead of by decision. If you want to build a life that's driven by purpose and not pulled by distraction, then you have to start every single morning by getting absolutely clear on the outcomes that matter most. Not a list of 10 things to maybe get done. I'm talking about 3 intentional outcomes, the 3 things that, if accomplished today, will move the needle in your life or business. That's how you focus your energy. That's how you build momentum that compounds over time. It's not about how many things you can get done. It's about what kind of results you're producing. Clarity isn't just nice, it's a weapon. When you're clear, you don't waste time. You don't negotiate with distractions. You stop saying yes to things that don't align with where you're going. You become surgical with your focus. And in a world that's constantly pulling at your attention, that kind of focus becomes your edge. So here's what you do. Every morning, before the noise starts, before the phone rings, before the world starts asking things from you, you decide. You sit down, you breathe, and you ask yourself, what are the 3 most important outcomes I will create today? Not tasks, outcomes. What am I building? What am I advancing? What am I finishing? And once you decide, you don't just write them down, you commit to them. You speak them out loud. You lock them in. And then you move through your day with those 3 outcomes like a mission, not optional, non-negotiable. Because when you show up to your life like that, with intentionality, with discipline, with direction, everything changes. Your time becomes more valuable. Your actions become more deliberate. You start producing results instead of just movement. And don't let your mind get overwhelmed by everything else waiting for you. It's always going to be there. But when you train yourself to execute with precision, to define and dominate just 3 meaningful outcomes a day, that's 21 powerful wins a week. That's over 1,000 outcomes a year. Stack those up. You think your life's not going to change? Clarity creates power and consistency creates momentum. When you combine both, you become unstoppable. Because when you begin each day by deciding what matters most, and then you go after it with purpose, you stop managing time and start mastering your life.